There's been speculation, a lot of it, over whether Hillary Clinton will make another run for president after serving as Secretary of State following her first bid for the Democratic nomination in 2008.
And Clinton is certainly no stranger to the White House, serving as First Lady when her husband Bill was president. Now she's been promoting a new book about her time at the State Department, which has only ramped up all this presidential talk.
But VOA's national correspondent Jim Malone tells On Assignment's Doug Bernard that in the process, Clinton's created some controversy by being critical of the man who hired her.
Jim Malone, you described the relationship between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama as one of the most compelling and fascinating in recent political history. What makes that so?
Well, one thing is it's still going on, and we don't know the end game of this relationship. We remember in 2008 they were bitter rivals. It took quite a bit to pull Hillary and Bill Clinton, for that matter, into the Obama fold for that election. But they did come along. And then the big surprise, Hillary Clinton served as the Secretary of State. And she's actually using that, if she decides to run for president, I think is a key part of her resume. But what we don't know is, what's the final installment of this relationship?
So where are we right now? How is this relationship playing out right now, and on what issues?
Well, it's getting a lot of attention now because of comments she made in an Atlantic interview talking about the organizing principles of foreign policy. And the Obama shorthand has been "don't do stupid stuff," which was a reaction to George W. Bush in Iraq, quite frankly. Okay. And now Hillary Clinton is saying, look, you need a more comprehensive, more sober analysis than that. This has caused some friction in the camps. They've been quick to kind of gloss over their differences, but you can see, is this Hillary Clinton pulling away from Barack Obama for 2016?
What's interesting, too, is Hillary 2014 is sounding a lot like Hillary 2008, perhaps a little bit more interventionist. Some use the term hawkish.
She has that reputation for, shall we say, more conservative, more hawkish on foreign policy. It proved to be a huge liability, though, in 2008 because of her vote for the Iraq War, which was used by Barack Obama against her. And there's still some sense of lack of trust among liberal Democrats that Hillary Clinton will need to win over. This may not help that for 2016 if she runs.
Well, exactly so. I mean, if she's trying to create distance between the president, who is not very popular right now, both in terms of his domestic policy and his foreign policy, is this the right issue to play? I mean, are the American public, do you think, generally in agreement that America needs to be more interventionist?
Well, you know, not so much interventionist, I think. Here's the dilemma. About 3 out of 4 people in recent polls have said both Iraq and Afghanistan were not worth it. So the idea of getting involved in military conflicts is kind of a no-brainer, which seems to be going back to don't do stupid stuff. But Americans also want to feel like the country does have heft in world affairs and can't just be isolationist and turn a blind eye. So finding that middle ground is key. And yes, Hillary Clinton is on safe ground in the polls in terms of people want a tougher response, perhaps. But that may not help her with core liberal Democrats in 2016, so it's a delicate balance.
How often do we see this distancing dance, whether it was Al Gore pulling from Bill Clinton, perhaps George H.W. Bush pulling from Ronald Reagan? Absolutely. How often do we see it, and how successful is it?
There's always a bit of it. Here's the key. What it's looking like for 2016, if you run on the idea that you want a third Obama term, you're probably not going to do well. So it's pretty clear she's going to have to put some distance between herself and Barack Obama. And as you point out, other candidates have done that in the past. But she has to be careful. She needs to keep her party unified. And is she the front runner for the nomination? Absolutely, if she wants to run. But it's likely someone is going to get in that race who's going to be on the more liberal side of the party. There will be a debate, a discussion. And she needs those folks for the 2016 general election because I still think it's going to be close, even though on the Republican side, the leading candidate by far, everyone knows who the leading candidate by...
Exactly. Is this the clearest sign that you've yet seen that Hillary Clinton is running for president in 2016?
She's doing everything right if that's going to be the decision down the road. You know, could she still bail out? I could. It would send shockwaves through the Democratic Party in the country. No doubt about it. But everything she seems to be doing, and I don't want to use the word calculated in a negative way, but there is that aspect to it that she's setting herself up to run. But here's the issue, too. Some of her poll numbers have come down recently. She's still by far the leader in the Democratic primary. But against some of the Republicans, those numbers, the margins have come down a bit in recent weeks.
Still a long time to go, and I guess we're going to see more of this closeness distance dance going on. Except push-pull between Hillary Clinton and Barack
They need each
Obama.
other, and this is the fascinating kind of the symbiotic nature of the relationship. Because even if she wants to put distance between herself and the president, she's still going to need his supporters and his support to some extent in 2016.
Once again, thanks to national correspondent Jim Malone.